Hello everyone, I'm Anna from the Albuquerque Public Library, and today I'm going to teach you the basics of cross stitch. So for any cross stitch that you have, you're going to need the following. You're going to need your hoop. They come in either small or large. Your embroidery thread and the specific colors that your pattern will show. Your needle, and it's going to have an extra large eye so it's easier to thread, and just make sure to be careful with the points there. Your craft scissors, and craft scissors are going to be sharper than regular scissors, so make sure to have a parent help you if this is the first time you are creating a cross stitch. Craft scissors are super helpful in this instance because if you need to cut your cloth that you'll end up needing as well, it'll make it so there's no strings on the side. Speaking of cloth, you're going to need your Aida cloth, and that is a specific kind of fabric that has specific squares on here, and they're going to correlate with our pattern that you'll be needing. If you're new to cross stitch, you can get all of these items at craft stores separately, or you can go and purchase a kit yourself. This is a really nice example of just if you're completely new at it, because it will have everything that you need except for the scissors. So even the needle is included in here, which is really, really handy. Plus they have lots of really cute designs. But if you have specific designs in mind that you want, or if you don't like any of the designs in the kits, there's plenty of other places that you can find designs. You can make them yourself, or like today with this template, you'll be able to download it as well, which I created this template here. And then we also have plenty of books at the library that show the templates that you can create. So not just cross stitch, but lots of other crafting books. So now we're going to begin with our cross stitch. You're going to take your Aida cloth and then your hoop, and you're going to cinch your hoop over your cloth. So first unscrew the top here. And then there's this middle portion, take that out. Put that on the table, and then you're going to put your cloth right on top of that. And then you're going to fit the outside ring on top of the cloth. This is going to be a little bit tricky, especially if you're using brand new cloth, because it will have to force it around some. Alright. And you'll notice that there are a little bit of wrinkles on here, but that'll be okay. Ours is a small design, so it won't be affected by that. If you're going to be doing a larger one, you can always iron out the wrinkles in the end. Alright, that seems to be pretty nice. Yeah, just like so. Now we're going to thread our needle. And I'm going to start with the outer portion of our design. So I'm going to take our green thread, and you'll notice this here is just a long giant piece of thread. And because it's small, I'm not going to use too much. I'm only going to use about a foot. So go ahead and cut that there. And this thread is made up of 6 individual pieces. Now, unless otherwise notified, you're going to be using 2 strands of thread for each cross stitch. So you're going to break out 2 threads and pull. If you're using a longer thread, you may have to be a little worried of tangles, but small threads are pretty simple to do. All right. We're going to thread our needle here. The best part about cross stitch is you don't have to worry about making any knots, or you don't have to worry about tying anything to secure it. So you just need a little bit of thread on this side here so your needle doesn't fall off, and then this is going to be your working thread, the longer portion. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to begin by pushing my needle through the fabric. So you'll take it on the back side first, and then push through. You're going to want to be careful since this is our first time threading it. It's not secured in the back, so don't push through too much. I'm going to keep about this much thread just so I'm sure that it's not going to be falling through my fabric. Now you're going to take it diagonally. So instead of going straight up or straight to your right, go diagonally right. And then just put that needle through that hole. All right, and then tug it on through. So you've created the first part of your stitch. Now I'm gonna work on securing the stitch so you don't have to worry about your thread falling through. Take a look at your key and notice that there is one more green box right next to where you are. So I'm gonna keep going straight on this line. So go ahead and go through the hole that's right next to your original position, thread through. Then you're going to want to flip it over and make sure that this thread here, the end of your thread, gets end up tugged beneath this green portion. So you'll see here, now I made it a little bit smaller. And you're gonna tug through on this side with your needle. I like to place the end of my thread down with my thumb, so I'm sure it's not gonna go anywhere. All right, tug and it is secured. So since there's one more green square on this side, I'm gonna go ahead, make one more diagonal. So instead of just making a regular X, I went ahead and continued on in the row with the right diagonal. This you'll find is easier to do when you have multiple colors in the same row because you'll know a little bit more of where you are on your path, and it'll actually save thread in the long run. But now, since this is the last portion of green that we're gonna do, I'm going to complete my basic stitch. So similarly, just go in the hole beneath right where we entered, and you're going to do a reverse diagonal and then just pull through. There you go. You've completed your first stitch. All right, perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and complete a few more rows of the green so you can see a little bit of the pattern. Okay, so now we're on our fourth row. You'll notice this one's gonna be a little bit different because it has 4 squares instead of just 2. So I'm gonna go an additional 2 on this row. You're gonna want to check with your pattern every now and then just to make sure that you are following along with it. With a small design like this, if you do make a mistake, you're probably going to want to fix it because it will be noticeable. But if it's a larger design, oftentimes you can just let it go because you can't even tell. All right, perfect. But let's say I made a mistake and I didn't want to do that last little thread there. The easiest thing to unstitch it is going to be to take your needle and push it through there, and then perfect. That way you don't have to worry about reversing your stitch and accidentally getting it tangled in the fabric. All All right, we're gonna go ahead now and fast forward to when you complete the outside of your watermelon, and we're now on the second portion of our watermelon, the second portion of the line here, which will show you how to do a half stitch. So just take your pink thread, I'm also going to be showing how to do this without a hoop. Some people may actually like to do it without one when it's this small of a cross stitch, just because then you won't have to worry about having any lines in it. So you'll notice here I already started on the second row, but there's 2 seeds on this row, so I'll show you how to do one of the half stitches here. So I'm going to end up doing one more regular stitch on this row and then a half stitch to make room for our seed. And you're going to start it similarly to how you would with the green. And then making sure it's secure. So this stitch here is going to be our half stitch. We're going to begin doing it as any other regular stitch diagonally. Perfect. Did that wrong actually. All right, so we've just secured our thread here. Instead of going down this hole like we would to continue the rest of the pattern, we are going to go to the hole that's just left of the hole that we entered. All right, perfect. So now you're coming out straight here, and then you'll notice on your cloth that there is going to be a portion in the middle that you can enter in, and that's going to create your half stitch. There's going to be a little bit more resistance than there would be with the regular corner hole, but it shouldn't be too much. You'll notice there, you just tug it on through and you've completed your half stitch. I'm now going to show how you would finalize your cross stitch to make sure that it's going to stay on there once you're done with it. So say you wanted to switch colors or you're at the end of your thread, you're going to want to be on the opposite side here, and your needle is going to want to be on the back side as well. You're going to want to stitch it through at least 2 colors. It doesn't have to be the same color as the one that you just used. And then do it at least twice to make sure it's secure. All right, perfect. Snip. All right, it's done and secured. Perfect. So fast forward 20 minutes, you're gonna have your cute little watermelon here, and you've just completed your first cross stitch. As you practice and do more cross stitches, you'll notice that you can do a lot more than just wall art. So you can decorate clothes, you can put it on pillows, you can embroider purses. So there's lots of ideas you can do. Again, feel free to check out one of our many books that we have at the library for more ideas. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you soon.